store or something?
Chris Dempsey of the Denver Post. He's here to talk some basketball with us.
All right.
I want to talk about the draft first.
Oh.
The Nuggets, again, not such great luck with ping pong balls. At least they stayed where they were slotted, didn't move back. Do you have any idea who they're looking at number 7, who they really like, who might fall to them, and they're saying, that's our guy?
Let me interject while he's thinking about that. No, he doesn't know exactly who they're going to pick because they're not telling him.
I know exactly who they're going to know. Listen, I think the guys, one thing that you have to understand about what they're trying to do with the summer in general, so the draft obviously fits into that, is they really want an upgraded talent. They really want the kind of guy that can become a core guy, if not be the guy at some point. So the reason why I say that is because right around where they draft, Willie Cauley-Stein should be right around there as well. And he's a guy, except for the fact that he's a guy he's a little bit more of a niche guy. So if you need an elite defender, guy who can probably defend 2 to 5, he's your guy. But he's not the kind of guy that you can build, a team around. And so my point is those kind of players you should eliminate right off the bat. So then what that leaves you with.
Well, then you're taking. Hold on. Then you're taking a risk. Then you're betting that this guy's going to be a superstar, that core guy.
Yeah, but I think that's where they are right now. They're not in the business of. Listen, we look at the Nuggets already, and we say, well, they got a lot of good players. They have a lot of role players. You've heard that a lot about so they're not about to add another role player to a team of role players. So they would like to try to draft a guy or acquire a guy somehow that is obviously a notch above that. So if they're going to take a guy out of this draft, you're looking Justice Winslow, Mario Hezonja. If he's there, an interesting name is and I know this is not going to float your boat, is Kristaps Porzingis.
I don't like him.
Here's what's very interesting when you talk to people around who've scouted this guy. What you hear is this. You hear probably about 60 to 70% of them think that he is going to grow into a bona fide huge-time star. But then you hear the other 40% go, he's a nice player, but I don't know if he's got that. He will be good, but not that great. So he's a very interesting guy.
And it's going to take a while.
I think we'll see him, though. I think we'll see him go right around 5. I think that...
Somebody's going to reach.
Yeah.
I think somebody's going to happen.
I've watched so many draft sites and sort of done... wrote them down and the names over and over again.
Yeah.
And Winslow comes up and what you're saying, if Porzingis does go ahead of maybe where he's slotted because somebody wants to take a chance, then Winslow could slide back a little bit. There's belief that Winslow could also go 5.
Right.
That Hezonja will be there, I believe.
Yeah.
He occasionally shows up at 6.
And as long as we're talking about the 2 foreign guys, the international players.
Right.
Do you think that because this staff, Tim Connelly and his guys, are Eurocentric in a lot of ways, that they're going to do that? And B, Mike D'Antoni has been an international coach. If they're thinking that way, does that move Mike D'Antoni up in the coach search? Does it matter?
No, I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Because I think you're talking about the guys that are mentioned most of this. They're all going to play similar style. You're not going to get one guy saying, "Well, I would use him in a vastly different way than another coach would," because they wouldn't. The international component to what they do at the Nuggets is very interesting. I think this happened to just kind of fall into that category. This is a coincidence. That there is a Mario Hezonja that's there. And then the one thing I'd say about him is I think the talent kind of jumps off the screen. I think when you. And that's what you kind of have to look at. What's the guy's upside, even if he's not going to bring that upside the first year or two? What can he grow into?
More so for me, Chris. The attitude jumps off the screen.
Yeah, but I think that's good.
He's a tough kid.
Yeah.
Let me give you a question you've never had. I'm going to preface it by saying Cuba came here to play in baseball against the American team before the first time they played the Olympics in the baseball in the Olympics. I think that may have been in Athens, I think. And I watched this. No, it was before that. The Rockies had not come into being, so it was '92. It was an exhibition sport there in Barcelona. And I watched the Cuban team, and I wrote a column saying, I got the solution for the Rockies.
Cuba.
Yeah. All the players sign that
All
Cuban
Cuba,
team.
all the time.
Send some sort of ship down there and have them sneak over and get on it. You don't have to get on a raft. And I wasn't being funny. I still think that would be a great solution today. Cuba's now opened up, signed. They don't sign any of the Cuban players. That is my preface. Why not just go ahead and get an all-European team?
All-European all the
and
time.
I'm not saying this with a hint of humor here.
Right.
I'm saying that get an entirely international team, and people go, you can't do that. San Antonio Spurs have done that. I mean, they go and sign players from all over the world. They're starting point guards from France. You know, you can go through the lineup.
Yeah.
We know the key players from the United States. But I don't understand. Okay, and I think I've asked you this question before, so I repeat it in the context of all that is, then go get one of the best European coaches, because Dave Blatt, even though he's American, was coaching in Europe. D'Antoni's coached in Europe and Israel. Just the reason why I say that, Jerry West was on a station the other day. I'm sorry, this is a long-winded question, but it gives you a lot to
to ponder.
eat on.
Yeah.
Jerry West said the reason why the Lakers were so successful was Jerry Buss, as an owner, was a risk taker. That they spent the whole offseason doing whatever they could to get a kid named Kobe Bryant to make a trade for him. And they sent their starting center, who was a good player. He was a very good player. One of the best international players, one of the first international.
Vlade Divac.
Yeah.
And they took a chance on an 17, 18-year-old kid who didn't really do much the first year. But that risk paid off, because then Shaquille was intrigued by playing with Kobe, and the Lakers had a long run. As he said, and I'm quoting Jerry West, they were in a position of turmoil then, because it was just prior to that Magic Johnson acknowledged he had the HIV virus.
Right.
And he said, we were on the way to dissension, but they pulled it back up. So I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you, and that gives him time to eat and me to sit down and listen to your expertise.
And take a nap.
Take a nap. Now, I think it's interesting. When you talk about that whole Kobe Bryant situation, it's interesting because, the one parallel that I'll make with Hazonia is Kobe Bryant pops off your screen. When he was in high school and you saw the plays he was making, you didn't look at him and go, he's got so much skill. You looked at him and said, man, this guy he's bringing it. He's bringing it, athleticism, he's bringing it. And I think that's what you start with, knowing that your coaches then can coach the skill, can get the basketball IQ to where it needs to be. And then his work ethic alone, obviously Kobe, tireless worker, got him to where he is today. So when you look at a guy like Hazonia, I think the first thing you look at is the stuff that pops out at you. The deep three-point range, the ability to slash to the bucket, dunk on guys. This is not layup time. This is not dunking when you're the only one going down. This is when somebody's on you, which is, I think, is, in the NBA, that shot's getting blocked if it's a layup. Aaron Aflalo knows this. When you're going with that kind of fire and fury, so then you get them into your system, and then you develop them there. Do you need a European coach to coach him? Greg Popovich is not a European coach.
How about a full European team?
I think at the end of the day, you probably would lose it with that team, because you still need,
They might have trouble selling tickets too.
Maybe not. It depends.
They're not familiar to the American public.
I know. It would take longer for the
to grow an affinity
for sure.
between the fans and the
There's no doubt
players.
about it. But
I know he's got a break. But have you ever gone to Cirque du Soleil?
What does that
It's
have
the
to do
biggest
with
thing in the world. He's going, oh, who's going to go see a bunch of
No,
Europeans?
what I'm saying is it'll take a
did you ever
while,
see
and
the
if they don't win
ballet?
right, and if they
Gosh.
don't win right away, it might take even longer. Hey, first segment brought to you by the Harmony Foundation, Colorado's premier treatment program for drug and alcohol addiction. Do you think they treat pizza addiction? Because I think I need to enter.
Yeah,
It's
you
located
do,
just
yeah.
outside of Estes Park, private, beautiful,
Brownie
45-acre
addiction.
mountain campus. It is insurance friendly, so go to harmonyfoundationinc.com if you feel the need.